Brooklyn's historic The Black Lady Theater is now taking bookings. Host your next birthday party, concert, networking event, baby or bridal shower, wedding, art show, gala, corporate event, live stage play, audition, and so much more. At the one and only The Black Lady Theater. Mention code GODCAST for 15% off your rental fee. Code good for the first time customers only. Valid for a limited time. Call 718-771-0900 to book your event today.
Peace! Today is Friday, September 6th. Making today's math.
Equality.
That's right. Equality is to deal equal in all forms of knowledge. Deal in equality with your human family. Peace. Welcome back to Yanadameen Godcast. I'm Lord Jamar.
I'm Digga.
Godfrey.
Okay, we got Team Yanadameen in the house.
Yeah.
We got our audience. We here in Brooklyn, heart of Brooklyn at the Black Lady Theater. And right about now, we have our special guest with us, author, publisher, God Body, Supreme Understanding. Peace to the God.
Peace. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. Clap it up.
Yeah.
Now, like I said before we left, the God is the author of a book that many of you may know about. It's called Knowledge of Self, a collection of wisdom on the science of everything in life. And I happen to have a foreword in this book. You know, how many years has this book been out now?
Came out 10 years ago to this,
10 years
ago.
Wow.
Yeah, 10 years.
10 years. And I've got to say, a lot of people have hit me up about this book in that 10 years and just how it's helped them. And this was a pivotal book for a lot of people as far as trying to find knowledge of, the 5% nation and just a basic understanding of where we come from.
Right, just get some clarity.
Right, so just give us a little understanding on this. And I see all these other books that you've either written or published, correct? How many have you written and how many have you published?
I think I've written about 10 and we've published about 30.
Wow.
Yeah, we published about 30. So this started out with this book right here.
That's your first book?
Yeah, this is the first one. This is How to Hustle and Win. This book came out because I was working in the community. I was working with young people. And as you know, 5%ers do, we teach through life lessons. We tell stories, we use examples, and it resonates. But being that I had a background in education, I was getting frustrated with not being able to reach more people. So I'm like, I got to figure out a way to disseminate this. The 5%ers before me had laid down the foundation through music. So I had seen the pioneering example of teaching through music and distribution through music and independent music distribution. So we used the same model for the books. We sent books out. I got books printed up. I ain't had no money. I took out a credit card advance.
I was going to say, wait, how do you say you sent the books out, but how do
you even get to the publishing? Right,
You see what I'm saying? Because
it's a journey.
Important steps that people need to know.
I'll explain it,
in order for them to do for self.
Yeah, so that's self-empowerment comes with self-employment. You know what I mean? You can't do one without the other. So just like you getting free, we getting free, let's teach how to get free. So one of the things that I help people with now is publishing their own books. We can even do that by phone now. Because we so wise. You got to think about how we talk. Like, our talk game is splendid. You know what I mean? Prolific.
Right.
We could spit this freestyle and just come up with something that's just, you know what I mean? Visionary. So we can take that. We can turn a transcription into a book. We can edit it. We got a proven formula by which we do it. And then we lay it out. We make it look good. We pick good quality paper, good quality covers, design a beautiful cover. You know, I got a background in art, so I've always been an artist. I used to do graffiti when I was a kid and went into Photoshop when it came out. So we started making covers that was different, that would speak to people, and everything on the cover is covered in the book. So like everything was meant to be a piece of art that would catch you. And so we kind of brought books back, because you remember when nobody was reading, nobody cared about knowledge of self. After like by 2005, 2006, the music wasn't speaking of knowledge, the music was dry, everything materialistic, everything was self-hatred. So it was like everybody was dead, about to go deep into the grave. Right. When the books came out, like people was happy to be back in the corner talking about knowledge again. And even if it wasn't in the streets, it was in the jails. And it was so heavy in the prisons that people was coming home different.
Right.
And wasn't going back.
Books in jails are still like,
man, gold.
Gold.
Yeah.
Like it's gold. Yes. And books like these in jail really resonate with those, because sometimes you have to really hit rock bottom in order for a certain knowledge to resonate with you, to finally get it. You know, and that's what I think a lot of people don't realize is a lot of people that end up getting knowledge of self, like, they might have been so foul prior to that. You see what I'm saying? Like, you had to be so negative to even want to go in the opposite direction.
What Russell Simmons said, he said we came from under the jail. You know what I mean? So I respect that, because one of my brothers told me the gods don't come down from heaven, we come up from hell. So I could feel that, because I'm Bengali. A lot of people don't know what I am or what I come from. Like, I'm Bengali. I'm an immigrant's child.
So Bengali is like India?
It's near
Bangladesh.
India. We don't even have no land no more. How about that?
Wow.
Bengal don't exist.
Wow.
Bengal don't exist. Bengal is split between Bangladesh, which is Muslim, and then West Bengal, which is in India, which is Hindu.
Right.
And it wasn't created by us. Those splits was created by the same people that split up Africa.
English.
You see what I'm saying? The British, the Europeans, they do that. Wherever they go, they see a people that's hard to control. They say, well, how can we divide you? So, you know, my people had to go through that, because my people was one of the last Indian tribes or groups of people to resist Europeans. When Alexander the Great showed up to Bengal, he seen us waiting with 20,000 war elephants fully stocked with armor, and he took his white ass on back.
Yeah.
So we come from that history. We was always resistance fighters. And so the way you do with people that fight for freedom is you split them up. Have them hating themselves and have them hating each other.
So how do we, because I want people to understand how, you know. You said, all right, I'm going to just start putting books out. So how did you even know the format of how to do that? And then,
I got a crazy story, because like, I got bad grades in writing all through school. Like, you might not notice listening to me, but I'm not a native English speaker. English not my first language. Like, literally the way I talk is from Americanizing myself, like studying. Because I grew up speaking Bengali, so like by 5 years old, I realized going to school, this shit ain't gonna work. Fuck that, I ain't about to get clowned. You know what I mean? They was clowning me, because we say yes is ha, no is nah, right? So they was like, nah. And I was like, oh, fuck these little kids. So I said, Ma, let me tell you, I can't bring no more Indian food to the school. You gotta give me a ham sandwich. She said, what? I said, you gotta give me a ham sandwich. She said, you never had ham before in your life. I said, I don't even know what it is, but I want one. Wow. It was the market. See, they market every day. If you growing up in America, you getting marketed to every day. You getting taught how it is to be a successful American, no matter what you is. If you a kid in America, you getting taught how to be one. And if you got a parent that came here believing in the American dream, they don't know that you're being lied to. They're like, yeah, do what them good people telling you. They don't know you being preyed upon. Right. So that's why a lot of immigrants, they learn to conform. They learn to shuffle down. You know what I mean? Be like the brown pig that don't stand out. Me, I could never figure that out. I was always a ghetto Indian. Even the other Indians didn't know what to think of me. So, you know, going that route, I was always the degraded one, the one that felt broken down. So I was always like, man, I know what it's like to feel like nothing. So I could relate to everybody else in the hood. I ain't never felt like I was better. So then when knowledge of self hit me, it hit me real, like it wasn't no special thing. It was like the brother that was teaching me was like, yo, you seem smart, but you need this much better than anybody else. And it saved my life. So I always felt compelled to give back what it gave to me. Like, man, this knowledge saved my life. And I know that just giving somebody a sense of themselves could turn their whole life around. So why not, you know what I mean?
So what made you not try to, like, I don't want to put a book out I'm gonna go to like some publishers in Manhattan and try to like shop my story and see if they'll put it out for me. Why didn't you do that? What gave you the wherewithal to just say, you know what? I'm just gonna publish my own fucking book and put it out like that.
I think it's just being a garbage baby, bro. Just being a garbage pail kid. Y'all know what that mean, right? You know, I'm a little bit older than I look. You know what I mean? I'm 38. All right, I'm 38. I might not look like it. I don't eat meat, so you know what I mean. I ain't had a chicken sandwich in a minute, so you feel me? But what I'm gonna say is I know about a lot of garbage pail kids. Those are little playing cards. They're just a bunch of kids that came out the garbage. You know what I mean? So I always looked at myself like one of them. You know what I mean? Like a little dumpster baby. Because, you know, some of us, we felt like an abandoned generation. There wasn't nobody there to raise us. Our parents were swallowed up by Reaganomics and drugs and other things like that. They didn't know what to give us, and they didn't have no emotional guidance. Our parents didn't even learn how to deal with their own feelings. And their parents didn't even learn they had feelings. They just had to deal. So we the first generation, low-key, to be able to talk about our feelings. And go back to our mama with some nerve and talk about, you didn't love me right. How dare you? Ain't never been a generation till now that could say that. You know, but we there now, but we got to do that because for our babies, we got to be able to say, hey, I'm fucking up right now. I'll trip out a little sometimes. I'll be depressed sometimes. Yeah, you know what? If you see me drinking, don't do that. Don't do it like I be doing. I'm fucking up right now. Because you could do that with your babies now that we growing, right? Like we that level of parent, which our parents couldn't do. Which means even though we a little fucked up, our baby's going to turn out better. So that's, in a way, like that's like always been my ethic with teaching. Like, whenever you open the conversation, shit gonna get better. So when I started thinking like, man, I want my babies to have a good life, man, I gotta create a better world. I gotta put out a book on history, on fucking science, on how to treat women, whatever. Because if I got daughters and I don't do that, then it's my fault when something happened to them. That's what Knowledge of Self did for me. Like, it was like everything on you. Everything.
So what are some of your titles? Let's
take us through the
okay.
chrono.
Yeah, because I'm giving out gifts too.
Some of these.
I'm giving out gifts.
Whoa!
That's a classic, right?
This is my shit.
Y'all put out books that we was reading when we was kids. Like, yo, what?
So,
the Kybalion?
The Kybalion, bro. Oh,
them is the 7 hermetic principles that govern the whole universe.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're a metaphysical minded person, you know about it.
I told you about it though, right?
The Ancient Princess.
The Kybalion is a good fucking book. You definitely should check this out. So you published?
I republished it, and I show people how it came from. You know what I mean? The original people. I show people where it came from in Egypt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Who was the author of it?
Right. With the
connected it back to them. Yeah.
Wow.
Because when the 3 Initiates put it out, that was a white boy.
Right.
That was 3 white guys that did that. See what I'm saying? But they didn't give credit to who it came from, who was Jehudi.
Right.
You know, also known as Thoth. So we took it back there because that was a living man.
Right.
These guys we talk about. I think we got the book Black God somewhere here. We talking about gods and goddesses. We talking about living men and women. We talking about people whose reputations were so prolific that 2,000 years later they were still talking about them. 2,000 years later they were still looking at the example like, wow, what a great person. You know, so like
Yogi Science of Breath. I remember reading this years ago.
Yeah.
This is a republished book.
Yeah,
man?
I republished that too. Found out who the original young, because that was a white guy too.
Really?
Yup. So we was republishing old books and old classics because we could. There's you go through the process. I can go back and republish a book that's 100 years old and claim it like it's mine. Legally.
Wow.
Because remember, what I come from is how the hustling went. I'm not going to be trying to turn a rusty lock 360 degrees, 1 degree at a time. I come from that school of picking the lock. I'm trying to pick the lock.
So you could take an old book and republish it. That's deep.
How about this? We republished a book nobody even know Fredrick Douglas ever even made, called The Heroic Slave.
Wow.
Fredrick Douglas made a novel where he said violent revolt against slavery is right. And he used the example of the American Revolution and all them to prove it. And he talked about a slave revolt upon the slave ship Amistad, right? And he documented it and he advocated for it. And nobody ever thinks this about Fredrick Douglass because they don't know what kind of heart he had. They always think that he just rode and he was pacifist. But nah, he was a revolutionary too. And this book that he wrote actually contributed to like a lot of other people later on being real revolutionaries. I had to dig that up. So we published it with another book that really contributed to a lot of revolutionary action, David Walker's Appeal.
to the colored citizens of the world.
To the world. This black man.
To the slaves of the United States of America.
That's right. And this is before slavery ended. He was advocating for revolution. And he was saying, you are the original people of the world. You built Egypt. You built all these empires. You've been degraded. You've been broken down. You need to know yourself. And you need to rise up, however it takes. And it was this book that came out before Nat Turner's revolt and every other revolt. They used to find this book sewn into people's jackets. They was hiding them, smuggling them in their jackets. They had a little. That's why I brought books back, because books is like, it's a major thing.
Right.
Like, books was sewn in the jackets like a secret book. Like, this book was a revolutionary guide, and if you had it, you was that guy.
Well, yeah, you would get. I mean, as slaves, you would get whipped for learning, for
What?
knowing how to read and
Yeah.
getting caught with books.
That's right. Think about it. In prison right now, most of these books is banned. You go to the hole for having one of these books. That book, look, this is a science book you holding, Godfrey.
Science of self.
It's a science book. We talking about physics and all that. You will go to the hole for having this book. 23-hour lockdown, security threat group. You ain't even got to be a 5%er. You just got to be reading that book. Any one of these books, even that one.
Why?
There you go. Good question.
Why?
Why? Same reason you just said, because they'll whip you for learning how to read.
This book is in Spanish.
Can't have it.
That whole book in Spanish.
Yeah.
Rah Digga.
Yeah. Because what happened was the people in Puerto Rico and Mexico, when they learned about how to hustle and win, they was like, we need this. We'll translate it. So I had my readers
This is
translate
How
it
to Hustle and Win
in Spanish. Yep.
Wow.
Completely independent. No publishing company.
Wow.
My readers translated it for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then we went to Puerto Rico and Mexico and gave them out for free.
That's so dope.
And painted the universal flag up on the wall in La Perla. La Perla is the hardest hood in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
And they gave us the, you know what I mean? And granted access, put the flag up.
Wow.
So I'm interested in this title, Rap, Race, and Revolution.
Woof.
What are we talking about in here? You can't win this game. You have to change it. What are we talking about here?
So like hip hop culture is just a microcosm for the black experience in the world.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just like a small example of what you've really seen. So all them three things is related. Rap, race, and revolution. Because the rap is just the voice of the language that needs revolution. Even in Palestine, they doing what? Rapping to speak to their revolution. In France, what are all the revolutionary people doing? They rapping. They not singing country music. They rapping. Country music is for when you what? Depressed. You feel me? You sad, you miss your girlfriend, that's when you do country. But you want to rise up, it's only hip-hop. So hip-hop is the language, and unless it's really spoken to by us, for us, clearly from people that really know this perspective, then it's going to be marketed by somebody else to be something that's counter-revolutionary. So it become about consumption, and it become about lifestyle, like thinking you're part of a team that you're not part of in real life. People thinking they part of a community that don't really give you sugar when you ain't got no sugar. Your community is only the people that can give you sugar when you run out of sugar. So that's like, for me, like when I listen to a lot of people going through, I be wanting to be funny about it, but then I be worried because I be like, don't you got babies? Like, yo, the kid might not be around in 50 years. This discussion we having might not be so relevant. Because I'm thinking about the babies living in a world of total chaos 50 years from now.
Right.
And what can we do? What can we teach? And what can we be so that they be okay? Because if we not okay, they going to be like them kids in that movie, It. You know that movie, It? They grow up not ready to confront their demons. The demon going to take you. This life ain't about to get no easier. Do it look with this Trump administration like it's about to get easier? Who about to make it smooth? Bernie? What? I don't believe in none of that. Because my lessons taught me what's going on. That's why I advocate, look, even if you don't want to study the lessons and live them out, just learn them. At least become familiar with what the teachings is so that we can say that we did this for a reason. Because my father didn't die for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, we really did this. Because my thing is, if you teach this as hard as he did, you die in 3.5 years. I'm talking about a law that founded the 5%. You know what I mean? You teach that hard, goddamn, righteous gang, bang, bang. You know what I mean? They're coming for you. So, you know what I mean? We striving to be a body of people that teach different elements of it so that everybody can rise up together, and that's what this is all about. Because in those 2 books, that's part 2 of the How to Hustle and Win, which is part 1. And it was really meant to lead you to knowledge itself. Because it's like a school curriculum. Because I know that school was miseducating. Because while I was doing all this, I was teaching for 15 years in the public school system. I did all this while being a school teacher.
Did you teach?
Yo, every
subject.
When you teach 3rd through 5th grade, you teach them reading, language arts, math, science, social studies, and you take them outside to play.
I see you got a children's book, real life. It's no fairy tale. By C. John Goss.
There you go, my teacher name. Two people.
Two Horizons Press.
Made another company too.
That's the name. That's
how we sell to the schools. How to hustle and win.
Two Horizons Press.
Man, you think they gonna buy some books from Supreme Understanding?
Right.
Right.
See?
But you camouflage it and that sounds like some old
See?
curriculum. Oh, these are the books
You
from Two
can't,
Horizons Press.
he can't be Supreme Understanding out loud. You gotta, what is it? Horizon Press?
Two Horizons Press, yeah.
Two Horizons Press.
Yeah, so you know.
But then you also have Supreme Design.
Sounds nice and wholesome.
Yeah.
Two
Sounds nice and colonized.
Absolutely, right, yeah. We here for the schools, for the teachers.
Yeah.
We publishing old books like The African Abroad, which is literally 100 years old. That's Two Horizons Press too. It's a reprint. This book was written by one of Garvey's lieutenants, right? This man documented, and I'm talking about over 100 years ago, this man documented the black history of the entire world. Literally, he went over every empire over the world. He's like, yo, these started out black. This is over 100 years ago that he wrote this book, and nobody's seen this book. The book is 800 pages. This is 2 volumes. I literally just republished it because I believed in it. I literally was like, yo, I like this. Why don't this exist? Why don't nobody know this exists? And so, that's the beautiful thing about when you start really controlling and you start moving into self-empowerment. It's like, well, what do I believe in? What do I care about? What are my things that I want to give to the world? I'm a real historian. I'm
So dope.
I like having fun. I like doing everything everybody else do. But when I met the science of history and Malcolm said it's the most rewarding subject, man, I see in it. Because in history, I could see what we're going through right now. Man, you know the shit we going through with Popeyes and Chick-fil-A, man. You know they went through this shit with motherfucking Coke and Pepsi.
Right.
You remember the Coke and Pepsi shit? Taste test. Let's see if you can tell which one tastes like what. The fuck? And then Coke had another Coke, and then there was a new formula, and there was a new formula. Yo, they ain't been the same since they took the Coca out.
Right.
That's the only thing that made people want to drink Coke was Coca. That's what made you do it. But after they took the Coca out, listen, Coke ain't never marketed to you on what they taste like, have they? Have you ever heard Coke do a marketing on what they taste like? No. It's just about feeling good. They just selling you a feeling. So my challenge is, right, for us, we got to learn how to sell our feelings. We got to learn how to make people want to feel like this. We got to learn how to make smart feel good.
Right.
Because motherfuckers are scared to be smart right now. They like, that shit look like it's going to feel bad.
And it wasn't always like that.
This guy made it cool. You made it cool.
It used to be cool to be smart. Remember? Safe sex, respect, it gotta be you,
intelligent
respect yourself.
Yeah. The intelligent hoodlum.
School. You didn't want to be the
shit.
kid. You didn't want to be the derelict in class that stayed back.
Hell no, you get made fun of.
Yeah, you got clowned for that.
You gotta bring that back. Make
Now, now it seems like the whole, I don't know if it's like No Child Left Behind, but now you got the 1 or 2 smart kids in school that are trying to pay attention, and everybody else is being derelict.
Yep.
Let me tell you, as a school teacher, I'm going to tell you right now, I left the school system because the school system is designed to make kids hate school. It ain't designed to give your kids no great experience and open them up for the future. We can't even act like that's what's really going on.
Designed to make them hate.
Hate it. Sit there and shut up, little boy. Or little girl, whatever you is. I'm going to respect your pronoun, but I ain't going to respect your motherfucking heart. You know what I mean? This what's going on right now. They're going to administrate them into a whole new form of slavery because the school-to-prison pipeline real.
Right.
What it is by 3rd grade, they got it designed to where the kids ain't going to be able to read. Or they ain't going to want to read.
They don't even teach cursive writing anymore. I had to teach my daughter how to write cursive.
Man, listen, they don't even teach kids how to use Google. And they got a phone.
They don't teach penmanship and stuff in school.
You remember when we used to learn how to use the library, the Dewey Decimal System?
Dewey Decimal.
Remember that? That crazy
Remember
shit.
when they were trying to teach niggas the metric system, and they just gave up. They was just
fuck
like that. Americans ain't fucking with that. But now the whole rest of the world, that's what they fuck with, the metric system.
Oh yeah.
And we still do with the inches and the...
I don't know what they do in our kids. You seen that new math? The new math where they do 18 extra steps for you to do 3 plus 3?
Yeah.
That shit, I think, is really designed to fuck the kids up because this was happening. Nobody with money or power is sending these kids to the schools to teach this shit. This is public schools we talking about. In private schools, they teaching business ownership, gardening, fucking cooking fucking sorbet and whatever the fuck they teach in the high. I don't know. I don't come from this life. I don't want anybody to think I know.
I was learning.
I just said cooking sorbet. That literally makes no sense.
It was a requirement to take Latin in my school. They required us to take Latin so that we would be able to
know what words mean.
Origin words.
Yeah. So
equidistance,
Now,
that means equal.
I just want to throw this out there about math. You see, talking about new math and all that. I discovered a type of math that's an old type of math that is very simplistic. And if they would teach this, people would probably fuck with math more. It's called Vedic math.
I seen that.
Check out Vedic math. Look into Vedic math. It just simplifies shit crazy, and it works for everything, like algebra, all kind of shit. And I'm like, these fucking bastards. Like, if they would have taught me this kind of math when I was a kid, I probably would have wanted to be a mathematician or something, because it would have been easier. But the way they teach it to you is so fucking confusing. Well, you don't even want to fuck with that shit.
They teach it to you in a way that make you feel bad. You designed to feel like a failure in the school system at some point. So at some point, you're going to opt out. They used to say that a third grade kid start wanting to not be in the school no more. Now it's as early as first grade. And first grade, I was teaching the kids was like, fuck school. You're in first grade? You 5. Oh, I'm sorry, you're 8. Okay, that explains it. Because you're 8 in first grade. Something went wrong here.
You
know what I mean? Like,
let me ask you this, because now you said you taught in the public school system, right? Now, I have a girlfriend who was also a teacher, and her biggest problem was the kids, and just the kids not being disciplined. She's like, first of all, you got kids coming to school who haven't eaten breakfast, and there's a lot going on in our own sociological system that's really making it hard. And then you want to talk to the parents. You got the parents coming to class. They smell like weed. They ready to fight. It's like,
I hear all that. You know what though? I was always the teacher who, if the parents smelled like weed, they never wanted to fight me. I was always a teacher that if you came in with your rollers and your flip-flops on, I ain't never had no judgment for you. I was a teacher that used to go to the kids' houses. I was a teacher that used to get the kids' hair done. You know what I mean? I know this kid can't get her hair done. I know this boy smelling pissy. They might not have no washing machine or no running water to wash his clothes. I get him a new outfit. You know what I mean? Because teachers make more than the people that they serve. Always. You know what I mean? If you work in a public school, you make more than the median income of the people that got to put their kids in the public school. So you got a little bit of extra money, and if you really need to, you can ask for it back from your school. You can ask for it back. So when people be like, oh, I don't know how to take care of these kids, it's just like when I hear people be like, oh, man, when I hear black people be like, oh, man, we so fucked up, we can't do this, look at what we do, look at we. A motherfucker say that thinking about the last experience they had with somebody else. That's what they really referring to. When they be like, we fucked up, they talking about them and another motherfucker recently. So if you couldn't manage a group, you love saying, oh, black people fucked up. No, you just failed at management. Me, I excelled at management. I love my babies. My babies love me. I still see them to this day. And they see me in the streets and it's still love. The parents see me as still love. And that's what we want to encourage teachers to do, because that attitude that, oh, I don't understand these people. They poor. They're poor. That's all the fuck it is. And poor people do poor people shit. And if you got love for it and you know where it come from, you're going to be able to relate to it and show it the love it need to grow.
Yo, listen, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk a little more. Maybe just talk general stuff as well. You know what I mean? Keep the God here with us. He's a witty mind. You know what I mean? Godcast.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.